Anything that Sofia does, I think, is incredible, and I love her so much. But then also, it was like, yeah, because it was all these girls, you know, women, and obviously Colin. But I think, you know, it's the girls' story. They hold the power in the situation, I think. And with Alicia, my character, she's kind of the promiscuous one a little bit. If I guess how promiscuous you can be in Civil War times, meaning she wears her hair down and shows her corset a little bit. Sometimes that's like a big no-no. But also, I mean, you can't even imagine, I guess, growing up during the Civil War, how hard it must have been, and also they were also kind of bored, I think, in this girls' school. It's like boredom. It's like, what do? We go to these classes, but we're stuck in here. And then, so when things are shaken up, you know, when we find Colin, for my character at least, it's kind of an awakening, you know, to see a man. Like, they haven't seen a man in a very long time, you know. And I think it was fun to get to play someone like that, and I'm in that time period too. I've never done. We had an etiquette coach come in, and she taught us, you know, it wasn't just, you know, obviously no elbows on the table and things, but there were you had to if you wanted to pass a pitcher, you had to pass it in this certain way, like all these things that are proper to do. We had a dance teacher come in who taught us some dances from that time period. And also we were all together, so all the girls, like we all just got to feel comfortable with each other. There are these women who also have been trapped in this house, you know, not really seeing the outside world in a way, living in the wartime on scarce food, you know, all this. And so it's these women that are there, and then finally they get this man, but he kind of, yes, we're intrigued with him, but we kind of outsmart him in a way. He thinks that he can outsmart us, but then we can outsmart him. I don't know, she's such a close friend, and so I feel like I don't know, I love her so much. And her sets I think everybody does such a great job with, you know, the crew and everyone, because they love Sofia so much, because she's so nice to them and so, you know, caring for everybody. I mean, just like anybody you'll see, are you doing okay? You're doing good. You know, she really wants to make sure that everybody's happy and having a great time on her set. And even though she's also so much in charge, but in a very, you know, soft, beautiful, very easy way, you know. She has that elegance, and yeah, it's really. It's cool to see. I don't think there's many people like Sofia. She's very unique. She has that presence, you know, already she's very tall, and her posture, and I think that's even more enhanced, like with Miss Martha, who is the head mistress of the school, and so her presence and I think Nicole kind of carries this on set, like this intensity, and everyone kind of stands up straighter when Nicole's around, I think, you know, because they want to, and maybe that's because she's, you know, Miss Martha at the time. But yeah, but also she's so great and fun too, and nice, and yeah, she's pretty amazing. I think she's perfect for the part. Colin's great. Yeah, he's great as well. I know he's had to, do a lot because, you know, things happened to his leg, and so he's had to deal with that. He's had canes and crutches and all this. And gosh, we had one scene where he comes in and he really frightens us all, and we're all like terrified. And I remember we were off camera, and it was his close-up, and it was terrifying. I mean, we were all, I think we looked around and we were like, oh my God, it was so scary. Because when you meet Colin, he's like friendly, smiling, loud, like talks really fast, just like ready to go. But then when he did that scene, it was like, oh, that's not Colin. It's a much safer place to be at the school instead of to be, back home where our families are. So our families have sent us here to keep us safe and keep us well fed, during this time. And yeah, it's very, routine. They get up, they do the garden, you go to bed at a certain time, have dinner, pray, play music, French lessons we take. Amy, while she's out in the garden, she's like picking mushrooms, and she finds McBurney, who is he's a Union soldier and he's wounded, and we take him in, which it's like, why do we take him in? Because if you found, because he's obviously he's the enemy. All of us are terrified. It would be at any moment, because we've obviously, all the girls, we've heard all these stories, these terrible things happening, and how they are, they're the enemy. It's terrible. But we bring him in, and then we start to kind of trust him, but we don't know if we really can fully trust him or not. But we're being selfish, and we want to keep him there, and we're hiding him because, we should put a blue rag on the gate and, have the soldiers deal with him, but we kind of decided to take matters into our own hands and take care of him and nurse him back to health. And then I have a corset on right now. Yes, corsets every single day, and they have to measure your waist every single day because the skirts are made to fit that waist size. So every day we get it on, get measured, and then put our clothes on. You cannot get dressed alone, that's for sure. Someone has to come in there. You can't even get undressed alone. Like, you have to, so many buttons and things. But it does, obviously you have to wear the corset because, well, they did back then, but it just makes you stand up. You walk a completely different way. You hold yourself a completely different way. So it does. And Stacy, costume designer, did such a great job. She made this is so soft, this skirt. She washed it like a billion times to make it faded, real faded, and because they obviously, and I don't have that many outfits because they wouldn't have back then. They just, if they got torn, they'd have to mend them up. We had a dinner table scene. It was and we were all eating apple pie, and we were just having dessert. But this was the first time that McBurney, that we invited him to dinner to actually dine with us, because normally we keep him locked in the music room because we're scared of him. We don't want him to come out. But this time we let him eat with us, and it was a great scene. It felt, because there's a lot of scenes that are very they're dramatic and intense, but this one was more lighthearted. It felt very alive. I had whipped cream. I was like flirting with with the whipped cream, and I made the pie, and then all the girls were like, I love apple pie. Oh, me too, me too. We were all trying to impress him, and it was just fun. That scene was great because I think we got to let loose from all of the more traumatic scenes that we had already done. So that one stands out just because it just was really alive. We could laugh, and it was fine. I think it's fun, but it's also going to stick with you, I think. Definitely. I hope, after going out, you'll you know, I guess the best movies you're thinking about them for, you know, for weeks, and I think this is one because there's so many little details in there that I think you have to watch a couple times also to pick up on the nuances, because there's definitely a lot, and people who, I also think that not many people have seen the original movie, or maybe, you know, they have, you know, and so it would be fun it's like kind of a retelling of that story, and it's a great one, you know. And there's there are a lot of movies in the Civil War or whatever, but I don't think there's never been one like this, because it's set in. We've only filmed in 2 locations. You know, it's set at a house, and that's it, and just showing a story of these people's lives in just a little, you know, a month period of time. You know, not very long, and so much happens. Which is a lot like life, you know? So yeah, I hope that they enjoy it and think about it.
Hey, so I hope you liked the video. Now stay with me as I have an interesting behind-the-scenes fact. Do you remember that famous diner scene in Heat with Al Pacino and Robert De Niro? Well, in reality, they aren't actually sitting together. The 2 actors got into a fight while working on The Godfather 2 and refused to appear on camera together. Director Michael Mann compromised by filming the actors separately and composing the shot later. During the scene, nobody in the background crosses the middle of the frame. Now, if you haven't already done it, remember to subscribe and click the notification bell to always receive the latest trailers the moment they are online. See you next time!